As you all may have noticed, I have been emailing y'all the reports in real time just as quick as I get them finished, and the city, they're off to the city council. They're also off to you all, so I hope you all like that cycle, and you can kind of be aware of what we're doing ahead of time. But I'll just hit some highlights. We've still been continuing to work with the local veterans group, doing the hometown hero banners. The veterans have been here every Wednesday for quite some time, and that project is doing well. We're taking orders for quite a few new banners, which will be displayed downtown on Memorial Day and Veterans Day. Dwayne Terry is the husband of our Jellicoe mayor, and he is a collector extraordinaire, second only to Miss Gill and her collection of Jellicoe paraphernalia. And he's been sharing quite a bit of stuff with us. Recently, he shared some antique banks, operable banks, which are really cool. And he said we would let the kids use them and try them out. They've had a lot of fun with that. However, he didn't leave the keys to any of those mechanical contraptions, so we've had some kids be a little bit chagrined about losing their money into his bags. And he also has an awesome pottery display over in the library right now, if you want to look at that. Had 1,246 patrons through the library in January. In February, we had 1,321 visits. One of the highlights of the month for us, and Ms. Gail helped spearhead this event. We had people come in the library, mostly children, but adults too. Everybody that wanted to made a Valentine's Day card for the residents at Beach Tree Manor, the Walker Nursing Home, 104 cards. And myself and Cheyenne and Linda and my great nephew Eli and Cheyenne's little boy Leland, we took those out and spent about a half a day with the residents distributing those cards, and that was kind of touching. I was really kind of dreading going because I don't like to go to the nursing home myself, but probably saw more smiles that day than I'd seen in quite some time. So those residents really enjoyed that. And I got to visit with my 6th grade Tennessee history teacher. He's 99 years old, still super sharp of mind, Mr. H.L. Wright out there, and he remembers assignments that he gave me many years ago with uncanny failing. It's amazing how he can remember. And as far as we know, he's Jellicoe's last living World War II veteran. He don't want any recognition for that. He's kind of strange in that. The conference room here one day during February was absolutely packed out. They had a Mending Appalachia program with the Tennessee Department of Mental Health, and we partnered with them in the Substance Abuse Services, and they really drew a crowd here. They had 2 sessions, a day session and an evening session, and this room was really packed out. And we're still looking forward to America's 250th birthday. We've got a lot of decorations and new flags and stuff over at the library, and we've just been having a lot of fun, and we're kind of in the mode of getting ready for summer reading right now. That's about all I have for you.
Thank you. It's not been easy, Mark. Now I'm looking at the increase, the wireless sessions, just the increase as weather has got a little prettier with the new turbines, and yeah, it's very nice.
She says me because I'm sitting here. Mine's always short and sweet, as you know. Library's doing pretty well. We've had some volunteers coming. They were great kids doing college volunteer. Morgan Cooper, as you know, left due to college classes interfering with the scheduling. So as far as I know, she's at La Follette Middle School now, following teachers around, learning more of what she needs to do with her teaching career. Carly Malcote was placed in her spot. She's a sweet girl. She's learning a lot. She works 3 days a week. They also allow Geneva Perkins, who is our substitute, to come in on Fridays. So I've got a lot of help during the week now. We've been doing some weeding, planning a book sale, so we can get rid of the old material and have room for new. The American Red Cross is wanting to come in to do a CPR class, so we're setting up a date for that. we're going to do another hunter safety course and pray that there are no snakes this time. Yeah, the last one, we had a copperhead come into the building from our fall festival decorations. And I was silly enough to be the one to scoop it up and take it outside. It was a baby copperhead, and yes, ma'am, I scooped it up into a dustpan, and I had no idea it was a baby copperhead. I took this thing outside like this and yelled at one of the fire department, and I said, "Get this thing, go kill it, do something with it." He said, "Honey, that's a copperhead." And I went, "Oh my God."
You're a better woman than I am.
No, I was terrified. Once he said copperhead, I was, but, things are going great. We're just, Carly had to leave early today, she's had the flu, so keep her in your thoughts, cause it's hit her hard.
Do you have your statistics?
I thought I handed you everything. It should be stapled.
Oh, it's stapled.
It's stapled
Okay.
to the
I
back
got
of
you.
it.
Never mind.
It should be stapled, my darling.
My fault.
It's all good.
Thank you. Sure enough, if it were a snake, it would be me.
Well, you can have all the snakes you want to.
Laughing at snickers over there.
I won't go in my son's house because he has 7.
Intentionally?
So again, I see an increase in library visits as from January, as the weather's getting nicer.
It's doing
Yeah.
really good.
So very nice, very
We've got
nice.
more kids coming in, and I've been giving kids little bounce ball squeezes, little stress balls. And, getting kids in is gonna be a little easier, I think, with somebody younger. 'Cause
Well, and
she-
then just too, to have time away from the desk and
And we
multitask it.
yes.
Yeah.
The men's shelter just down from the library. Most of these men are coming in, I get a little leery occasionally, but they're coming in using computers to put in applications for work.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Doing research. There's one gentleman who's been in there every day trying to get something started, find him a house. So we're doing what we can to help them.
Good work, thank you. Ms. Nancy?
Okay, well, on my report, I have a statistical report on top. I think I did it backward, but anyway, we've circulated 1,662 items, and I've added 47 new customers, 124 new items, 520 computer uses, and 194 Wi-Fi uses. That's basically the statistics. But then what's been going on, things are really hopping here because circulation is increasing daily. I think a lot of that's due to all the programming I've been doing. Children's Wednesday morning story time is adding new children weekly. We had about 24 last Wednesday. Lego Club had 20 last Wednesday. So historically in La Follette, Wednesday was the slowest day, and I think that was because used to everything closed half a day on Wednesday. But now it's my busiest day because of all the children that are in. And circulation last Wednesday was kind of out the roof because the mothers were actually checking out a bunch of kids for their books, for their kid. Checking out kids for their book, checking out books for their kids. I don't think they want to check out kids. I've started a homeschool co-op group every other Tuesday at 2 o'clock. First session was last week, and we let the kids plant their own seeds, and it was just so good. And they made a poster of what they'd planted, and then they each had to get up and give a presentation of their poster. And they were just so sweet doing that. It was like, "Oh, hurry back in here, I got to do a presentation," and all that. So we had 22 school-age kids, and that's kids from like age 6 up to 4th grade. 5 and 6. We started at 5. We had about 10 preschool, like 3 and 4-year-old kids, and we took those into the children's area and did a lot of preschool activities. We let them color, we let them get the magma tiles I have, and they all built castles, and it was just a fun day for all of us. But the kids loved that school. We'll do that every other week on Tuesdays, and the Tuesdays that we don't have a school group, preschool group, we're going to start having a crochet club. So every other Tuesday, we're going to teach you how to crochet, which I can't do, but anyway, Megan, my assistant, can. She's really good at it. And then every 4th Tuesday, like today, we have a wreath-making class. And so today, Sam led the ladies in making beautiful, one of them made a thing to set on her mailbox, and it was awesome. And he made a wreath to show them how, and it was absolutely beautiful. So I bought that, because I said, what are you going to do with this? He said, I said, well, I'm going to buy it. He said, okay, so it's going home with me. Of course, bingo club's increasing my circulation and my patronage a lot. New players are coming every week. They're just, word's getting around. A lot of the attraction, I think, is that I'm asking all the elected officials to be the caller in bingo. You know, I've had county mayor about 3 times. I've had a state representative. I had county court clerk, circuit court clerk, the sheriff. This Thursday, I'm having the road superintendent. And it's election year, and if they're running and I ask them, they're there. Because these are voting people that are doing bingo. And I always, of course, serve coffee and tea and donuts, and everybody leaves a winner. Nobody leaves empty-handed. And they're very dedicated. In my book club, it's a Friends in Fiction book club every 4th Friday. And this is a really dedicated group. They do not like to miss. So we have a really good time discussing our book of the month. So as I ended that to say we are busy at La Follette Library is definitely an understatement right now, because we are staying so busy. And then, of course, we're busy with regular library things like circulation materials, adding new patrons, making copies, notarizing documents, using computer use and Wi-Fi use. And I am also right now spending my state and federal funds, which, as you librarians know, it takes a lot of work because you download all the MARC records, you get them ready to sit on the shelves. That requires weeding because none of us have really room on our shelves to put a lot of new materials, so you got to take a lot of older materials off. Even if you don't want to, because you do have to make room for the new. But weeding is, required, suggested that we do regularly anyway to keep your materials fresh and circulating. And that's kind of a full-time, going on all the time job. And, I'm doing my training. I'm keeping that up to date. I got a little behind last year for some reason. I made it, but it's pushed the last. And a lot of the training I've been doing are Zoom trainings. I prefer face-to-face. I think we all do, but sometimes it becomes necessary to do it online and via Zoom. I attended Libraries at the Heart last Friday at the Regional Library, and a half day was spent at the Clinton Library. And it was really good training on programming and growing your library and all that, so it was fun. And I just hope you're all enjoying the beautiful spring weather, and I hope you are getting ready for Easter. We'll be closed on Good Friday in celebration of Easter. So happy Easter to everybody, and that concludes my report.
Report.
Are you a notary? I didn't know that. Were you a notary?
Mm-hmm. I've been married for many years. Mm-hmm. You'd be surprised how many people.
I'm sending them to Nancy.
Yeah. The banks send them to me. The courthouse sends them to me. I mean,
Well, that's a good thing.
Mhm.
Not the only one I know.
Hmm.
You're the only one I know.
I get calls for that. Anyway.
I think your homeschool co-op is a really good idea.
It's great.
The homeschool population in Campbell County is growing. Is it here on this subject? I think it would probably be wise for some of the other libraries to offer them on other days of the week, so that those homeschool kiddos could have something to do more than just every other Thursday.
Yeah.
Jacksboro, Caribou, or Jellicoe could offer them every other Monday, or,
Mhm.
because the homeschool population is
It's getting big.
It's growing rapidly.
Really big. It really is.
We have one family that has, 7 children with another one on the way. That's just one family.
Oh.
7. They can liven up the library.
I bet they can.
What'd you say?
They
can liven up the library?
Yes.
Definitely. Definitely.
Okay. Anyone heard from Carrie Dawn?
I have texted Caitlin and she did not respond.
She sent me a text earlier that she had a migraine headache and was being unable to attend.
Oh, okay.
Did you hear anything? I haven't heard anything. All right, thank you for letting me know. Okay, so the next item is, from our regional director, now we've heard from Alan Fairman.
See everybody up here in Jellicoe? Come up over the mountain. My report I send out via email, and I just just highlight different things going around the region each month. The annual TOP grant application is deadline, state grant is due on March 31st for anybody interested in that. And the technology grant, annual technology grant application should be coming out probably sometime in May or so. We'll see. And in-services coming up, like Nancy mentioned, Libraries at the Heart in-service was actually Logan Birdsong. And if you didn't know, Logan actually resigned from the position at the region to take another job. And so we have a new fellow, a new tech support person. His name is Lance King. He's from Oak Ridge, and he's fitting in really quickly. But Logan was already scheduled to lead that in-service, kind of taking her background as a library director and also as a tech person. So she's kind of with these dual skills and perspectives. And but she had committed to that already, so she came back and led that in-service. And like Nancy said, it was really good.
No relation, by the way.
No, you're not related to Lance King. I didn't even think about that, but good to know. Upcoming.
I'm so sorry, excuse me.
It's all right. Upcoming in-services. We have a Tennessee Electronic Library in-service with Andrew Zilke from the State Library. And Change Management in-service, Jennifer Brewer, who is my counterpart up in the Johnson City regional office, will be down. She's a really good trainer and speaker, so that's in mid-April. And then we have a really interesting in-service at the end of April in Jefferson City Public Library. And we have a consultant who talks on generational fluency. So a lot of workplaces and society in general, we have a lot of generational mixing and matching, and it's trying to understand where other generations are coming from and kind of how they develop and evolve and how we can communicate better and so on and so forth. And I think that's all I need to highlight, Cora.
Questions, comments, discussion on any of the reports? All right, then, moving on to old business. We have our director self-evaluations. We're going to follow up this time. There were only a few that had below the 5. So, would you all like to give us, I think we had discussed last time how you all had estimated the work that you do in order to give yourselves the below that 5. So, but for fairness, interest of fairness, if you'll just tell us what you plan to do going forward.
Don't really have any updates. You kind of put me on the spot.
Okay. Well, it was in the minutes. Anyone else? As far as a plan of action.
My only one that I wasn't up to part on was my webpage.
Okay.
And I do got to find some time to work on that.
Okay, perfect.
And I'll probably get Dina to help me with that, since she's great on that kind of thing, and she's always willing.
There we go.
So, yeah, but that was my only thing that was below par. And I graded myself as below par on that, because I know my webpage is not up to date as it should be.
Okay, so.
Can at least get into your webpage.
Yeah, you can get into it.
I can't get into mine. When Gregory left, he didn't give us the code to get into.
So is that something that perhaps Gina can help with?
Possibly.
Possibly, okay. So I'm gonna put you in touch with, defer to her expertise, because that's way above my head.
Oh, yes, we did make a Facebook page, Morgan started, but
Okay.
I'm able to link into it through my own or
Mhm.
well, through through my own or my own Facebook. But if, what is her name? Carly tries to get into it, she can't, although Morgan left a code for it. So
Okay.
we can't figure out, I'm gonna have to get with Morgan again and see if we can't get her to.
So maybe she needs to refresh her cache and delete cookies, and that's
I don't
about
know.
the
I
realm
don't know
of
what-
my area of
I
expertise.
have no idea what Morgan did. She said, this is the code to get into it, the passcode, and I'm going, okay, we've tried it, we can't reset it. So
Okay.
I'm gonna have to figure that out.
That's a Gina question then.
Another
So-
Gina's question.
Okay, okay. So we have a plan. That's,
I have
and plan of
plans.
action. Okay, that's good. And Mark will defer next time, that's fine, because I know you're on top of everything anyway, so. All right. Also, old business was our ad hoc committees, and Megan, since.
And Linda, committee.
I did my homework.
You did your homework, we have, yes. Yes.
Okay, so Adam and I met with, Caitlin and Frida too. And Caitlin had the most recent director's job description that had been written by Logan before she left and Campbell City Mayor Beth Lawson. They got together and wrote the most recent job description for a city library director for the county. So we just kind of worked off what she had. I gave everybody a copy. Nobody has the original but me. You'll just have to trust me when I tell you what we changed. So really, the first highlighted part there, it used to just say, supervises and directs library staff and acts as a decision maker. We kind of just elaborated on that a little bit and said, recruit, select, hire, and supervise any additional library staff in conformity with the library and city policy and procedure and state and federal law, just to kind of cover all the bases there. The part that, select the material, that used to just say select library material, again, we just felt like a little more verbiage was needed to clarify what we were asking. And then we also have included that develop and maintain a minimum weeding schedule at 5% annually, like what you just said, Nancy. We thought it was important to have that in there so that librarians who were hired in the future knew that that was part of the job description and an expectation that they needed to follow. There was a part in the original for the city of Campbell that said attends all library board meetings and offers suggestions. We did tweak that some. It now says library directors shall attend all board meetings and complete continuing education requirements of the State Library and Archives. In the event that a director is unable to attend a board meeting, they must notify the board chairman and vice chairman as soon as possible. Of course, Caitlin didn't do that. This is brand new. It's not been voted on or approved or anything. We also added library directors must inform and advise the board as to a local, regional, state, and national developments in the library field, and work to maintain communication with other area libraries. In the last one there, the original did not say anything about social media, and so most of you libraries have a Facebook page, and if you don't, like, I know you're working on getting yours up and going. Morgan was doing a pretty good job while she was there.
She did, but.
But that's kind of the way of the world now. Everybody uses Facebook for their information, unfortunately, so I feel like it's really important that all of our city libraries have an operational and up-to-date Facebook page, so we just included that.
Yeah, well, we have an entire generation of children who have graduated high school who have never known a world without internet, so yes, I completely agree. The only, any discussion,
We emailed it with Matthew and, did we email the entire board? Did we
Mhm.
send it out to everyone? I think some of the only amendments that Matthew suggested, in the original, it was labeled the Clinch Powell Regional Library, and so we corrected the name now. And what else did you, is one more thing maybe that you suggested? Oh, I think we had included that they must, the directors, if they were not going to be present at a meeting, would need to let the regional director know as well, and there was really no need for that, so we took it out. But those were the only suggestions that we got from anybody at the time.
You knew I would. The only suggestion I would, very minor, is I would just leave Caryville Public as a blank line, so it can be blanket for any of the 4 libraries within the county. So it can be blanket. I would label this addendum A, B, C, whatever, so that we can attach it officially to the bylaws. And I would, under position requirements, tweak it to say a combination of a minimum. I like how it says would usually be acquired, but where it says or, let's tweak that. Let's entertain the idea of tweaking it to include verbiage such as, to say a associate's degree or at least 5 years public library experience. And that would grandfather all of our current librarians in. So there's,
I'm going on 16 years.
so you have no problem there. You've got that, you made that 5-year mark, so that would,
3 times.
yeah,
Are
3
you
times.
just saying, are you just wanting to say library experience or public library?
Public library experience. Because there's a world of difference between school libraries and public libraries. And that's all the changes that I would, honestly, I think you did a wonderful job.
We spent a lot of time on that. Matthew, do you think that's pretty much in line with other libraries?
Mhm. You might say, most of the position requirements should be,
Usually.
some are
would be
preferred and
yeah.
some are required, and you don't want to pigeonhole yourself.
Got one light out.
Well, we
back.
have usually acquired with, and then or, the combination of education experience which demonstrates blah, 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 blah. And then may can be considered instead of high school diploma with an associate's degree or 5-year public library experience, is where I would put that at.
Say that last part again.
That's where I would put that at. Or instead of high school diploma or equivalent is required, I would put associate's degree or 5 years public library service required. And I would remove the last line.
I wonder if that will pigeonhole you if it's a requirement in the future. You're thinking of the current directories, but I'm thinking about future.
So am I,
hires.
but we are the only state in the union right now that offers 2 years of education absolutely free, and I think we would be sorely remiss if we didn't take advantage of that for our children's future, that we are valuing their education.
Oh, I agree. I'm just talking about required versus preferred.
Well, or 5 years library experience though. So if they don't have the education, but they have the experience, I think that would, I mean, back at 16, for example, and we're only asking 5.
Well, that's working, then I volunteered for years before that.
So there you go.
And
Yeah, but I'd say work.
would our county pay for a master's degree for somebody coming in?
I mean, that's a good point, because making, like, if we're going to make a college degree a requirement,
No, I'm
the
saying.
pay must meet.
Well, you're starting it off with master's degree
No,
on it.
well,
Maybe you
would
need to put
usually be
associate's
acquired,
degree
well,
or better.
she's got skilled, would usually be acquired with a master's degree. And then we're saying, do we need to remove that completely? Because, I mean, it's just saying, it would usually, the way that I'm reading it is that's what usually would be, but we're willing to go forth with successfully meeting the requirements with the minimum, bare minimum bones of an associate or 5 years experience. That's how I read it. Should we tweak it to where it says that a little more clearly?
Maybe associates or better.
And just take the first line out so it's not so confusing?
I don't know, it sounds like you're starting with masters and you're going downhill.
Well, I didn't do this, so I'm going to
Yeah.
talk to the.
That's how it was already written, Logan, and that we didn't change.
So she's
anything
just
about
saying
the
the skills and
position.
knowledge required would usually be acquired with a master's degree, but willing with that or combination of education experience, which demonstrates the ability to successfully meet the requirements of the position may be considered. And then I'm suggesting changing with, instead of high school diploma, associate's degree or 5 years equivalent experience in a public library setting is required. And then remove everything after the semicolon. But what is everyone else's thoughts? This isn't my horse and pony show.
In a perfect world, I feel like the verbiage that's there covers if the board is always involved in the hiring process.
We're getting there.
We have seen that we're not.
We're getting there.
So if we need to be that specific, I'm not sure what the.
What's the library director's thing? What do you guys think? What kind of-
In my case, I would look out for Cheyenne. She's been here almost 10 years. You know, she needs to be somewhere in line to succeed.
Which is why I said 5 years of public library experience. That covers Cheyenne, that covers Campbell. That way, both protected as current and future
It
directors.
would be grossly unfair, I feel, for somebody to spend 10 years of their life when they've been offered quite a few different employment opportunities, but have decided to stay loyal to the library, and then
Do we
a
need to
job
increase,
description, you know. but
do you
gotta-
want to increase it to 10?
No.
Or is 5, the 5? Okay.
You're not gonna find many people. that-
Well, and that's what I thought, so.
I think other than existing assistants, it'll probably be hard to find somebody that has at least 5
Yeah.
years in a public library
They wanna
setting.
go like 2.
But if they have an associate's degree, like.
Is there an
Everybody-
associate's degree in library science?
Well, they don't have to have a library science.
And it's not degree specific, it
No,
would just say
not degree specific at all.
they would have an associate's degree in
Service mining, I don't know.
outreading or something. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just throwing that out there. But it's a degree. Yeah. My thoughts that are with someone coming from an educational background would have the level of professionalism and the wherewithal to deal with various capacities in the role, including negotiations between city and county entities as well as boards and so on.
I do worry that if we include the verbiage of starting with, usually it'd be acquired with a master's degree, and then include the verbiage of an associate's degree, and leave the 5 years public library experience as the tail end, then if the board is not involved in the hiring processes going forward, then people like Cheyenne would be looked over for someone with, just
So
a
do we
random
need-
associate's degree.
So what if we were to eliminate the first line then? Because you thought that was a little confusing.
Well, I
at first.
cannot imagine Campbell County paying for a master's degree I could be wrong, but.
I agree.
And-
with you.
and-
I don't think they will.
Yeah.
I don't think the
It'd be
first line is
wonderful.
confusing. I think
Yeah.
it's, if we include the first line and the associate's degree part, I
Then
think
we'd be
it's
remiss.
misleading.
Okay. So let's take the first line out and just change the latter part, and then that way, there's no confusion.
Associate's degree or better,
Or
like,
we have to have the caveat, or 5 years public library, because that protects GAFA and future.
What do the librarians think? I'm gonna be like that and ask the librarians what they think. What do you think should be requirements? How would you like your spot to be filled? See, I feel like I went to college, I got my master's degree, and I still don't know how to deal with the school board. So, just because you have a degree does not mean that you have, I don't know, whatever it takes to talk to people at a school board, I don't know if y'all understand what I'm saying, but, you have to have been working in that position to be able to deal with somebody, that.
On the other hand, people who have had experience, but not have experience in the capacity of that specific role, may not have the wherewithal to complete the duties as well. So that's a double-edged sword.
One of the most common things I heard said when I went to Public Library Management Institute and went to the reunions thereafter, people that said they had master's degree in library services, they said once they actually got in the field, they were ill prepared. Okay?
There you go.
Then the people that had sort of went through what the state had panned out, what to expect, they felt better prepared. that's not me saying that, that's.
And we have it on the back, so I think that's a fabulous idea to include that, yes. Because that way it truly helps them going forward. I think that's a good point.
Well, I think personally that it is very important that you have some kind of library experience. I mean, you can't just be able to do anything and become a librarian. You've got to kind of know what you're doing, especially if you're thrown in to do it by yourself, kind of like Rachel was, you know. And she had a lot of experience, which was good. But it's very important that you have experience. Very important. And of course, then if you do have the degree, I feel like the degree can't be in something off the wall, but it needs to be something, maybe not necessarily in library science, but something like in English.
Customer service or
Customer
something.
service.
Literature.
Yeah, that kind of thing, because you can't do a degree, say in, I can't think of anything, outer space or something, and come in and be a librarian just because you happen to have a degree. That doesn't cover it. It needs to be a degree in something, if not library science, something related to libraries.
So should it be, so it sounds like what I'm hearing is that everyone's in agreement that it needs to be at minimum experience, or degree specific.
Mhm.
Okay. So what if we were to
Preferably
change that and to
degree
tweak it to
in
say
libraries.
associate's degree in library or education or related field, or minimum of 5 years public library experience?
And then are you gonna say preferred or required?
I would require, just based on all three of our.
So associate's degree in library science or related field.
Library science, education, or related field, yeah. Or, put the or in there, minimum of 5 years public library experience. That way we protect.
But that would also take care of Caitlin, because she volunteered for quite a while.
But she also has a degree.
So this is for the future.
Yeah, this is going forward.
It's your not going to stay here, but it's for the future.
I mean, Caitlin does have a degree, but it's in like veterinary medicine. It's not related.
Okay. But she has experience.
Just so you know.
Okay. I
went
didn't
to
know what her
school for
degree was, then. I just knew she had a degree.
It's not, she told us, it's like, it's in veterinary science.
Yeah.
Is it veterinary science?
Okay, okay.
And I'd like to make a comment about, not that, I'm probably because we changed the subject, but it says, one of the bullet points says, acts as a library's public relations representative to the community. And I do know that Nancy and Mark are very active in the community and leadership roles
Exemplary.
and, you know, just talking about the community itself, and that draws people in a lot, and I think that's a real important bullet point. I don't know if you could star it.
You're a walking billboard.
Well, you
Yeah,
are
you are.
for your
Yeah,
jobs,
you're doing your-
and, you know, just like my husband, WLAF, he saw where you had done a program for, I guess, the Lions Club, and he was telling me all about
Martha
it.
was there, and
And
Nancy was
that
there.
comes,
Yeah.
and I think that also
It was
comes
good.
with, and that's a good jumping off point, because that comes with the ability to do that, puts the power back into the hands of the directors to hire good assistants within their power, so that they can check out books and run the library in their absence while they're doing these public engagement activities. So it all is tied all together for the greater good, so, yeah. So,
And I'm not.
do you wanna
calling-
move that maybe up to the, towards the top?
It'd be good at the top, but I'm not calling you out, Caitlin, but I'm just saying, you know, your leader at the time didn't show you a lot of things as a person that worked there. So you've missed a lot of knowing what to do, and you go to your job, you do your job.
You do
and
it
then-
well.
And then you leave. And, you know, I think that if you'd had a role model that showed that would be, you know, you might be doing different, you know.
Neither Gregory or Dan were open to those
Yeah.
things, so.
Oh, I understand that. I don't want you to feel bad because I said that about.
I'm not.
Okay.
But now you have, but in that, again, jumping off that again. But now you have a part-time person and a part-time person on Fridays, so you can
I just have to
hopefully.
get them both trained.
Well, we give you time, there's no timestamp on
It's
it,
a
there's no
ongoing
timestamp.
Yeah.
But then, let's get your toes dipped in the water before we baptize you in it.
Yeah.
So-
What you guys are both referencing, there's the second bullet point says provide the
Leadership
leadership role
role,
in the
There
library,
you
which
go.
is super
Yeah.
important.
So
Which
that's
going
the same
forward
thing,
would
yeah.
be,
Yeah.
is what you're doing with your
Yeah.
assistants,
Which kinda goes with
teaching
that.
them what you already know.
Doing the best.
Sometimes you're learning together, but teaching them what you already know, because you know from experience, being left with no knowledge, so.
And bringing the community into the library, like the American Red Cross and the, what was the other thing you said?
You did the fingerprinting.
Yeah,
and
our
the
safety
mask.
course, yeah,
Right?
doing that, I think that's really good. I'm sorry for changing the subject.
And even like you said, the men's recovery or whatever it is that's close to the library.
Yeah.
Basically a homeless.
Yeah,
I mean, even allowing them access, I mean, they're public, so of course you couldn't deny access, but welcoming them in and making
We're
sure
doing
that they
our
have the
best to
resources that they
encourage
need.
them and help them get on.
That's
their feet.
community outreach too. I mean, I think Faith is doing what she can.
Absolutely. All right, but that was self-evaluations. All right, so with the changes that we have recommended, do we have a motion to accept with the changes so noted?
I'll make a motion to accept it with the changes.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Any objections? Likewise? Okay, we'll name that.
I have the master copy, so I
Perfect. You can
can,
make the changes and
and
send it in,
email it out.
and then we'll call it in the bylaws the end of May, I guess, so we can go forward.
okay.
Alright. And bylaws, and I know there are typos, forgive me, I'm working 4 jobs, and I'm typing this between patients. I will fix the typos, you have my word. Did everyone have a chance to look and review over those?
Did you see the mail?
I deferred and asked for help because I couldn't use my work computer, I'm not
I
well.
think I
She
got
didn't have
it.
access, it was this afternoon, you might not have got them already.
It came this afternoon, I didn't not read it.
Okay.
It's just read right now.
Could you make copies for people that don't have them?
Okay.
Cora, Mark's gonna make copies of these
Oh,
for
thank
us,
you,
so that
Mark.
everybody will
Mark is
have
gonna
one.
make a copy.
That's the ones that Cora did this
Thank you,
afternoon.
Mark.
You got a computer in your hand?
Well, there is that.
I think a lot of.
So right off the bat, a change that I had made, and when we met, Vicki, you couldn't be with us that day, I'm sorry. But we had, Mark, the electronic means, we had Nancy, myself, and Martha had met, and we had a good time, and I was a little hangry during that meeting. I needed a Snickers, I was like one of those football players in the commercial. But we had fun through all the silliness. But one of the things that we have modeled it after, of course, was Blount County, and took that as our example and melded it in with our existing. So we weren't reinventing the wheel or charting the waters, we were just steering the ship. But one of the things that I think we were remiss in, that I noticed that they had and we didn't, is a mission statement. Which is why I have question marks on here. We need to come up with a mission statement for our library board. And that may be something that we have to think about and come back on. But I want to go ahead and talk about the other changes that we've made. And while we're making copies, we know this is old business before going on to new business. We can, we'll wait. But I will talk about, one of the changes that I had made, do you have a copy, Matthew?
Yeah.
Perfect, okay. So, section 1 is the same. the only thing I did is I just labeled them, because it said 1, and I labeled them section 1. Now, there's gonna come a point where I accidentally misnumbered. I'll fix that. But while we're waiting on everyone, I'm gonna jump ahead in the agenda, if that's okay. And that is simply to talk about Finance Director and Old Business, Mr. Pearson. I spoke with him again. We played phone tag for quite some time. I spoke with him today, and he's agreed to, he's gonna check his calendar and agreed to meet with me in person. We may borrow your library
Of
since it's a
course.
central location.
You might.
And electronically with Cheyenne about taking over those duties for us.
Meet with who?
Director of Finance for the county,
Oh,
Mr. Pearson,
Pearson.
oh, Mr. Pearson, right.
Mhm.
which was what we had said in the minutes last time.
And
He said he could give no, and he was very kind. He said, I cannot promise, but I will certainly look at it and see if it's something that was within his realm of knowledge and ability.
I thought you were gonna talk to Mr. Heaton or somebody about that.
Well, you had 2 names in there, and I went with the first one.
Oh, well, I just wrote down.
We just discussed David Hickman, who's a very young man who is the kind of head, since he inherited from Logan, his dad at People's Bank.
Yeah.
And he does our Rotary treasury.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I
you know,
went with the one that we wouldn't have to pay first.
It would be good if you could get Mr. Pearson, because
So we
he's.
wouldn't have to pay him. He's
Yeah.
already on county
And
I mean,
payroll.
David does have a lot of irons in the fire.
David's really busy, you know.
So I went with him first, and then I thought, well, if we hit a wall, that was the one. But he's gonna get back to me, and we will hopefully be able to see something
Will we be paying Cheyenne?
retroactively. But now let's wait, because I don't wanna have to do that twice.
Well, I just wondered.
But I think that we have to make a motion, but I think that would be a wonderful idea. Yeah, absolutely.
Have an extra gift card.
Thank you, dear. So in here, so that was the only other item of the old business. So in here, from our first to our second, Article 1, again, we don't have a mission statement, so we'll have to come up with that. Article 2, under membership. Meeting attendance, the only thing that I added is that we could possibly participate remotely as long as a physical quorum is present at the physical meeting. Blount County does. That's why I went by their thing. It's in their bylaw. But they,
Listen, is like that the issue?
is
that-
there a Tennessee code annotated that says against that?
I'm not a lawyer and I can't give legal advice.
Okay.
But
I just didn't know if you knew of one that existed.
yes,
Yes,
I mean,
okay.
it's complicated.
Okay.
For public meetings that allow electronic participation, there are a lot of hoops that you have to go through as far as public participation goes. Kind of have to be an open forum for the whole community rather than just one board member popping
Okay.
in on a phone.
I see
And
what
I
you're
can't
saying.
speak to Blount County,
Yeah.
that's in a different region, and they
Gotcha.
may have a more complex setup.
Well,
for
they've also
that
have
type-
Blount County money, and we don't.
Right. So, generally, we advise that,
So, but as Megan was saying, but with, on a non-voting capacity, would that be, or should we just take and remove that?
I'm not sure I'd have it.
Okay. My only thoughts were that people from Jellicoe could attend that have other obligations and the meeting times, like if you don't get off until 5 and the meeting starts at, then they would be missing a meeting, and
Yeah.
that would open it up to quality people on our board, you know.
No, why it's a struggle. It's a struggle for me getting to work to get to La Follette.
Yeah.
About 5.
Yeah.
Often.
Yeah,
So there is,
quality people.
there is that struggle for real.
Let's look into that before we
It's
say
real-
no. Let's
real
look in-
tricky.
Yeah.
Excuse me, on
Yeah.
page 4 of your Tennessee Standards for Public Libraries, it quotes you all can look them up, it gives you the TCAs to look at that.
Okay. I'm remiss that you didn't tell us that. But that might have been when I was hungry and we were being silly.
It has on here 7 or 9 members, that's in Article 3.
Yeah, that's a new thing. Well, hold on, Linda.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Did you make any changes to section 2, Article 2, section 1?
Article 2,
Article 2, Section 1. I think I combined it with, yes, I combined it with, let me find it here. With, the election of officers, I believe.
Must be reappointed by Campbell County Commission, I think I would put.
Yeah, it's combined with the two. It must be, what is the verbiage?
Trustees must be reappointed by Campbell County Commission.
Instead of appropriate governing body?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
One second.
Mm-hmm. Take your time.
I would put trustees must be appointed and reappointed by Campbell County Commission.
Appointed and, okay. Thank you. Okay. So noted, thank you. Thank you. And so we are in a, do we want to, what is, do you mind if I ask, what is exactly, does the annotated say? Does it say absolutely no?
I don't know, I have to read them.
Okay. Can we table that particular part until we've had a chance to look at it? Is that okay with everyone? Okay, so we're gonna table section 2. And then, now we're to the part that we were talking about. Composition of the board, we had decided that 7 or 9 representing the various areas of the county. And it has to be one or the other, it can never be 8. And the reason is, the last sentence that I put in there, that having that odd number prevents voting deadlocks so that you'd have tie-breaking votes in all matters. So it could be 7, or it could be 9, it could never be 8. That's why the or is in there. Is that worded correctly? Good. Okay.
But why the 9? I'm just a little confused, because we have had 7.
Why not?
Well, you could do it, you could do it this way. I'd probably just
I was
list,
hoping with remote we could.
I'd probably just list 7. And if the board ever wanted to change it to 9, that's actually in Tennessee Code annotated, that has to be 7, 9, or 11 members.
Mhm.
So you'd be locked in by that anyways.
Yeah, so 7 or 9. And the reason is if we did 7, 9, or 11, if we had one person sitting on, and we thought that when we looked at it with 11, Mark, am I correct in saying that when you had looked at it and we had discussed it together, Martha, that we thought it read that the individual cities would appoint if it was 11, one person. So that actually, in the future hiring of directors, might be a good thing, and if they would each have one person, maybe they would feel more a part of the board, and cooperative for all involved, and have that cooperation and communication that we all desire to work for the greater good of the libraries. Thus, our 7 or 9 or 11, as you said.
So are you purposely not specifying the number of board members per city required?
Because there is none. It goes by tiers, but that can change from year to year, depending on, so that's why, that's not. Good question, though. It's an excellent question. So do we want to leave it at 7, 9, or 11, or leave it as it has always been at only 7?
Maybe you say at least 7.
At least 7. And then should we include, so that for reference, everyone can look to the Tennessee Code annotated, which one it says 7, 9, or 11? I'm happy to do that.
I mean, if you think it's necessary, I think saying at least 7, and then the part where you've got that we should always have an odd number.
Okay. So take out the or 9?
I think so.
Okay. And I'll put add annotated. Removed from the board, remain the same, without changing any verbiage.
Who makes that decision?
For removal from the board?
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I didn't change any verbiage. It was exactly as written.
Well, I'm just wondering.
Well, it's a question.
I mean, I also know the same, because it says that you can have 2 unexcused absences, like
Within one
who decides if they're excused or unexcused, whose responsibility is that?
That gets tricky too. Y'all are asking a lot of
I'm
tricky
not
questions.
I'm not a lawyer, and I've never played one on TV. I don't know.
I would say, I would,
That's why I left that one alone and put it exactly like it was pre-existing.
Yeah, that's already in our bylaws.
I would put that member shall be requested to, submit their resignation.
Okay. Members, okay.
And I don't know- and-
And. To resign.
Unexcused is,
Different
that's the
words.
key word there. Basically, you know, I don't know if, is 2 what Blount County had, or is it?
That was already written.
Oh, that's what
ours.
you had in yours.
Yeah, that was already pre-existing in our existing bylaws. I changed no verbiage whatsoever. So shall we say, members shall be requested to submit resignation? All right. When a vacancy occurs during a member's term of office, I'll just put vacant. I think that one actually stood the same. We find it in here by vote at the next regular meeting, because we're talking about, I matched that with officers, as that's what I was gonna say, because it's filled within the next one, because we only meet 6 times a year.
I might, are you looking at 2.3? Oh, okay, shall be
After the-
recommended by the board.
Yes.
Board one.
Because, again, it has to be approved through the commissioner anyways. So
Right.
we're only doing the recommendation.
Only recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was good. All right, authority and responsibility of the board.
Good.
I think it was their existing. So that looks okay. All right. Duties and responsibilities, that should be an L after individual coaches, typos got.
Additions or what do you all think?
Well, there's a couple of items she wanted to come back to anyway, so
Yeah, so we'll
maybe,
not making a decision
maybe
today.
keep going through it and then
then
also have a
next.
chance at home
Yeah.
to bring more suggestions.
I just don't want it.
No, I'm saying you'd still have a couple months to,
Mhm.
I only have a couple of minutes.
that's all right. They changed the law for you, you can do 3 terms.
Yeah, right. You have to forgive me, Freddie usually kicks me under the table when I talk, and I shouldn't. She's not here.
I've not been doing any kicking.
Or nudging or anything.
So how would you like me to reword that one?
Regional, state, and national trustee meetings, workshops, and online trustee certification.
Okay.
So are you saying you should take out when able to and just say,
Yeah, you need to
You're
say
aware of all
when
that,
required
and-
to.
and attend regional state, just leave out the words when able,
Been recorded.
when able to. Just take those 3 words out and just say, and attend regional state, yeah. That makes
So,
sense.
well, is everyone here gonna attend regional and state? No. So when able to attend regional state should be,
When required.
tagged on the end.
When required to take the online trustee certification and when able to attend the regional.
Yeah, to tag that at the end,
And maybe
You might use the term expected.
expected to.
I was under the impression it was required or else.
Are you talking about the
What,
workshops? Or are you talking about the online trustee?
The online certification.
Online certification.
Expected to, required to, required is what you told me.
Just saying.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I said strongly expected.
Not any existence.
So strongly required, is that what you're saying?
Strongly expected.
Okay, hold on.
Yes.
My memo brain don't work that fast, don't brain that fast. So, and when required instead of when able to attend. Okay, so, and when required, attend online trustees certifications, and when able to attend regional, state, and national trustee meetings. Okay.
And everybody should do those at least once during their term.
I think you should still put expected.
Expected instead of required.
Expected, okay.
I mean, it can play into, grant funds and things like that, but there's,
So instead of and when, and are expected,
yeah.
to be grammatically correct. Okay. All right. And then, under the next part, the second paragraph there. I think that's common sense, but I'll let you guys read. Shall observe ethical standards with absolute truth, integrity, and honor.
And that needs
That
to
should be a period instead of a comma. We saw it at the same time. I told you, I was doing this between things. All right, and then the next one should be Article 4 instead of 3, but I misnumbered again, I'm doing this with communications. So officers of the board, and that is going back to ours, which is in our existing, it's actually on the first page. And that's word for word. No changes there.
Going back a second, is there an ethical, what is that article?
I think that was from Blunt that we borrowed it. Because the only thing that we have later on is, talking about conflicts of interests. Do you want us to take out the trustees shall observe ethical standards with absolute truth, integrity, and honor?
No, it just said it referred to a policy, and y'all don't currently have a policy unless you're going to adopt the one that you found from.
Well, it's, I believe, showing on board, which I misnumbered, so it'll probably be 9, I'm guessing. Which would be conflict of interest in the bank.
It's Article 8.
Oh,
Yeah, but it should be 9, because I put 3 on there twice, so I gotta remember them.
okay.
So that's what I'm referring to,
See Article 8. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
yeah. So that'll be actually see Article 9, because, well, I voted, because on page 2, I've got Article 3 here, and then Article 3 down the bottom, because I
Right.
misnumbered.
Okay, sorry.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. And then officers of the board, I didn't change anything, that was exactly the way it was written. Nominating committee. Any changes there? Okay. Officers, I believe is the same, but let me double check, because I want to make sure. It's only page 1. It's again, yes, and some of these can honestly be condensed into one because it's redundant. Which is, our existing was redundant, but I didn't want to change too much because I'm already springing a bunch on you without asking. So where redundancies lie, is it okay to put them into one paragraph in one section?
Which one are you talking about?
Officer serving a term of 1 year, section, page 3, it's listed as section 3.3, and we already have that under membership on page 1.
Oh, got it.
Or does it need to be listed twice, because it's specifically mentioning officers and not just members? I think it does, doesn't it? I think I took it out of that one and put it over there. So, yeah, okay. Chair, I think is under our existing. Section 1, and we just, I think this is where we tweaked and copied Blount County's. And this is just taking the verbiage straight out of. Secretary is the same. Any changes there on officers?
So, treasurer, you took that from,
Do I need to modify
from your
that?
current, did you take that from,
A combination of both. They were gathered together.
oh, well,
put centralized locations, I know we use Jacksboro Library. In case that ever changes, it's just listed as
Right,
centralized.
yeah. Other than that, it looks the same. The board shall designate 2 additional board members to co-sign the library board bank account. And then the last sentence, the board will designate 2 additional board members to temporarily fill the duties of the treasurer, including signature authority for checks and vouchers in cases when he or she is unavailable. Is that redundant?
There probably is, yeah, so we could take that line
Take
completely
out, maybe take out the first one.
Wait a minute, the first one or the second one?
First one.
Okay. Okay. And leave the second one. Leave. Okay. Next page, we're flying through this, guys. Regular meetings, we proposed, and that should be a 0, not a letter O, that's a typo. We proposed 5:30 after speaking with 2 of the directors and Martha and myself, instead of 5. Hopefully to give a little leeway in people who don't get off work until 5, so that they could be at the meetings without driving like Mario Andretti.
Because I drove the way I did.
Without driving like Mario Andretti, so that you can safely arrive. And hopefully would that help you with, okay, good. Any discussion there? Would that half an hour?
I mean, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Just that's what you're
Just a half an
specifically
hour.
asking me.
Well, yeah, I mean, before we put this together, because when we get it all together, I'm gonna email it back out and say, here's
What
the
about
changes we
the-
talked about.
What about the directors? It's already kind of a long day on meeting days for you guys after being at the library all day. Is moving the meeting to 5:30 and pushing it out a half hour later, how do you all feel about that?
Well,
We
2
did
of
it
our,
at 6 for years and years
yeah,
and years.
2 of our, we're, 2
I
were on
prefer
our
5
fifth.
though, I mean, I just think, you know, I'm glad like the library early be at 5 or 5:30. So I just leave it
So
at
5:30,
5.
yeah. That's what you would say
Personally.
5, okay.
I mean, if that's just me, I mean, Mark may think differently, or
Kathy,
you
what do you
may
think?
differently.
My,
I'm used to it being at 5, but if it's at 5 o'clock, it's harder to shut down the library and get the library board settled
so that half hour would help?
in my,
Okay. In my opinion, the 5:30, number 1, no library has to close
I had to close
specifically.
at 4 o'clock.
So no library would have to close nor to have a meeting, so we're not closing to the public, which is first and foremost why we're here. And then secondly, it would help the Board of Trustees to get to the library safely and on time. Is that okay? All right, so we'll leave it at 5:30. Going on, annual election of officers, I believe that was exactly the way it was here, no changes there. Agendas and notices, no changes there. Minutes. It does say Jacksboro, should we put centralized location, or do we want to leave it as it was and it specifically
Hold on,
says
you're moving
Jacksboro?
kind of fast. I had.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have thoughts on section 4.3.
Yes.
Okay, so the agendas, do you all post those in the library currently? Do you post the upcoming meeting agendas in the library currently?
No.
Okay, because this says the postings will be posted at each library in advance.
And these should all be section 7, not 6, by the way, because I misnumbered. That is exactly as it is. Well, board shall recommend a competent library director to individual city mayors, and I added with the job description. Shall create a job description for any vacant library director positions, interview potential candidates, and then I left it the way it was, recommend a competent library director to individual city mayors. So just added the key. Legislation, exactly as it was existing, no changes. Library director duty and responsibilities, that was melded and merged. Up until the director shall act technical advisor of the board is how it was. What was added is the director shall act as, shall be required to attend all board meetings, but may be excused from closed sessions and shall have no vote. And that was from the other, and that's the way we've always done it anyway, so. Personnel, director shall advise the board of trustees on personnel issues such as promotion, reclassification, demotion, selection, and severance of any or all library staff. That was added. Because it's within their complete rights to hire, as they see fit. Annual reviews, we kept that at self-evaluations because that's what we're gonna do, that's what we talked about and voted in last time. So we just kept it at the verbiage as self-evaluations. And I did put, include the opportunity to create goals to identify any ethical training needs for the library director. Self-evaluation timeline shall be created by the board and approved by the board of trustees. Just once a year, I think it's fine. They've already done. Conflict of interest is taken straight out of section 1, page 4 of the existing.
Where, say that again?
Conflict of interest,
Oh.
Article 8, page 6 of the proposed is taken straight from page 4 of the existing, which would technically be 8, Article 8. Withdrawal is section 2, exactly word for word, no changes. In-kind gifts, exactly as it is written already in section 3. Affirmative vote,
Pause for a second.
yes. Oh, that should be two influence. Left out the
I'm trying to remember what, a conflict of interest isn't just financial.
Okay, which part are you going up to?
Uh,
Section 8.1?
mhm.
All right.
Trying to remember how it's,
That is exactly how it was written. I changed nothing in that verbiage.
now what I'm saying is, it's not just a financial interest. It
Okay.
can be a personal interest, or even
Okay.
an appearance of a conflict of interest can be a problem.
Well, it says, may not in their private capacity negotiate, bid for, or enter into a contract with Campbell County Public Libraries for which they have a direct or indirect financial interest. Shall we put or personal gain? Or other personal gain,
That's nice.
comma, or other personal gain.
And that'd be this,
Section 8.1, which will be 9.1 since I numbered them wrong, on page 6.
I guess the same thing.
Point 3.
For
in-kind gift.
8.2.
Hold on. Board members shall withdraw from board discussions, deliberation, and vote on any matter in which the board member and immediate family member or organization which with the board member is associated with has a financial interest or other personal gain, comma, or other personal gain. Okay, thank you. And in-kind gifts, is that okay the way it's written?
Just some typos.
Well, I know that. Do you know how fast I was typing this sucker?
Well, these are her code, her,
Well, I've never been bribed with like chocolates or anything to say anything specific up here, and I'm sorely disappointed.
You should be bribed more often.
I've never been
Or
bribed.
perhaps with Hershey's, or what's your favorite chocolate? We'll have to put
Any
that
of
in,
it.
any of it. You don't get one you don't like,
I've
okay.
never been bribed with it.
Affirmative vote, exactly as pre-existing on bottom of page 4, section 1. and I changed nothing there. Section 2, temporary suspension of rules or resolutions. I added C section 4.6, let me see if it is, or if that's where I started misnumbering. It should be 5.6. Since I misnumbered them, what's not working, not what's.
She was confused about typo. I got her.
I told her not.
We got it.
I know, but I recognize most of them, it's getting late, I recognize the new ones.
All right, and that's it. And the addendum that was created by Jim, we're abolishing, is that right? We're abolishing the other addendum. No limousines and all that. Yeah. The one that was signed by Jim. I forget what it's
This
technically
one?
called. Yes. It's common sense.
Now, this one, duties and responsibilities of library board members. These new bylaws would kind of replace that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because we have ethical, and we figured that one little blurb in there to uphold the integrity and ethical standards, pretty much. I mean, we all know, is anybody really gonna take a limousine anywhere? Or ride first class in an airfare and applying, or discriminate specifically against, what was it, it specifically mentioned, Vietnam veterans. So in other words, we can discriminate against any other veteran, just not Vietnam. So we're abolishing that, and that's in agreement with the board. Because since we put the blurb in there. You want that in the chocolates, okay, except for the chocolates, we want that in the, kidding.
What's that?
That's what we're abolishing.
It's past Vicky's bedtime, remember?
Yeah, we're just
I'm
about
still hanging by a
done.
thread over here.
We're just about done.
Mallory had included a non-discrimination statement and a rates of reimbursement for travel at county expense because they aren't county employees. So I don't know.
I think that needs to.
So.
How
we'll
often do
include
y'all
that
ever
part
get,
And not the rest? So include that part and not the rest to protect the librarians for reimbursement.
I guess, what do y'all think? Do y'all ever get reimbursed from county funds for travel?
We used to.
I don't.
Okay. So we'll, in that case, we'll definitely include the reimbursement, but the rest,
Do you get reimbursed from city since you're
Yeah, I
part?
get from the city now.
You get
I have
reimbursed from the
travel.
city?
I have a line item in my budget for travel.
Okay.
So, yeah, I get reimbursed from city now, but we didn't used to send the county this board reimbursed.
everything, but I have emailed, I have went in person twice. I have spoke to various members of the staff, including Dan and Ms. Morton. And I know Elaine personally, and she's an upstanding Christian woman, and I know if I give her a message and she says she's gonna give it to them, it was as good as done. That being said, I have done everything within my power except send a carrier pigeon, and I have not received a message back, so that's my next route of
also
commitment.
been.
And you've also been, so I know he's busy, I realize he has a second job, so hopefully if I send a carrier pigeon, hopefully that'll work. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Is it 5:30 next time or starting next meeting?
Next
Well,
time.
Well,
That hasn't been-
it hasn't been approved in the bylaws yet,
No.
so that's a bylaw.
Oh, so it'll be 5 next
So it'll be
time
5
until you
next
approve
time.
those.
Until the
Who
bylaws
made the
are approved.
motion? Is that Adam?
Motion to adjourn, yep.
So it'll be at 5 p.m.
A second.
Oh, we don't, okay, we don't to adjourn. We don't adjourn. Thank you
Okay, there
all.
are a few light snacks in the back if anybody wants to hang around, or if you want to hit it